Without a doubt, one of the era's most shrouded in myth and legend is the Wild West. Cinema, literature, and now video games have fed these legends to such a point that it becomes nearly impossible to distinguish fact from fiction, and it is understandable. Is there any better canvas for storytelling? An unexplored land full of danger and opportunity, unknown cultures like the Native American tribes, towns forged from nothing by settlers with grit in their teeth, hard men, and a leap in weapons technology unlike any other. All of this created the perfect breeding ground for stories, myths, and legends, where our imagination runs wild. The topic of this video was chosen by you, the channel members. So let's debunk 5 major myths about the Far West and its guns. Let's start with one of the most widespread myths, thanks to Hollywood. The idea that everyone carried a revolver on their hip. This is totally false. The reality is, while some people carried them, they were a minority. Why? Because a revolver was not cheap, and frankly, not that effective for a settler's needs. If you were a rancher or a citizen in a frontier town, your priority was buying a rifle or a shotgun. They were cheaper and far more useful. With a shotgun or rifle, you hunt dinner and defend your home with superior precision and stopping power. Anyone who has fired a handgun knows it requires immense practice compared to a long gun. Furthermore, the revolvers of that era, often heavy cap and ball models, could weigh over 3 pounds. Carrying that strapped to your waist all day while working fields or riding? Just plain uncomfortable. It was more practical to keep a rifle in the horse's scabbard. However, there were professions where being armed was a necessity. Lawmen, soldiers, outlaws, scouts. They carried revolvers on their belts. But even for them, the handgun was a secondary weapon, a backup, not the primary tool as movies suggest. Generally speaking, most average citizens who wanted to carry preferred what we see today: small caliber pocket pistols, easy to hide, and light to carry. Another major myth surrounds the American Civil War. This conflict, raging from 1861 to 1865, pitted the industrialized North against the rural South, and it had a massive impact on the West. Displaced soldiers, having lost their homes, businesses, or families, were forced to migrate to the vast frontier. Famous figures like Jesse James, Wild Bill Hickok, and the older Earp brothers were all veterans of this war. History books and movies often claim the sole reason for this war was slavery. The reality is more complex. While slavery was a detonator, the core motives were often economic and political. The North, developed and factory-driven, imposed heavy taxes and tariffs on the South, whose economy was agrarian and simply couldn't compete. While slavery is undeniably despicable, it wasn't always the central nucleus of the fight for the common soldier. Most Southern farmers didn't own slaves. They could barely afford to feed their own families. The guilty parties were the massive Southern plantations, holding vast amounts of slave labor to maintain their palatial mansions and expensive lifestyles. Consider this. The North didn't officially emancipate slaves until late 1862, nearly 2 years into the war, and didn't let them fight until 1863. If slavery was the primary trigger, that would have happened on day one. There was also an economic cynicism to liberation. Freed slaves moving to northern cities provided cheap labor for factories. As always, follow the money, not just the altruism. Now, let's talk about the hardware. The movies would have you believe that everyone, and I mean everyone, carried a Winchester rifle, and that the West was won by lever-action fire. Nothing could be further from the truth. While Winchesters were popular, other long guns were far more abundant. The first explorers pushed west with muzzle-loading rifles. Simple, reliable, easy to repair. With ammo you could cast yourself. Settlers and ranchers, they preferred shotguns. Versatile tools, load birdshot for small game, buckshot for defense, or slugs for large predators. Cheap and deadly reliable. The double-barreled shotgun was the true conqueror of the West. Even the buffalo hunters ditched the old muzzle loaders, not for Winchesters, but for heavy single-shot breech loaders, like the Sharps or the Remington rolling block. The Army played a huge role too. As they updated their arsenal, they sold obsolete weapons as surplus. Thousands of muzzle loaders and Spencer carbines ended up in civilian hands for pennies on the dollar. The Winchester was a luxury item, great firepower, but expensive. As new models came out, older ones became affordable, but they were never the only gun in town. This leads us to the penultimate myth, the violence. Was it violent? Yes. Was it a constant bloodbath like the movies? No. Believe it or not, modern times often see more crime than the Old West. Shootouts were rare. Many towns had strict gun control laws. You had to check your irons at the sheriff's office. And with punishments like the gallows, most folks thought twice before pulling a trigger. Dodge City, the so-called wickedest little city in America, averaged only 1 or 2 murders a year, far from the Hollywood massacre. Finally, the biggest myth of them all, the duel. High noon, the hero and the villain, squaring off in the street. Contrary to popular belief, this almost never happened. People in the West weren't idiots. If you want to kill someone, you want to survive. You don't give them a fair chance. Just like the gangsters of the 1920s, the preferred method was the ambush, or the shot in the back. Look at the legends. Wild Bill Hickok, shot in the back of the head playing poker. Billy the Kid, shot in the dark. Morgan Earp, shot in the back playing billiards. Jesse James, shot in the back of the head while dusting a picture. When you want someone dead, you don't duel. This myth likely stems from one event, Wild Bill Hickok versus Davis Tutt, a rare instance of a face-to-face quick draw. But it was the exception, not the rule. And there you have it, 5 myths busted. If you want more truth behind the legends, let us know in the comments. Subscribe and join us next time.